Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video I wanted to talk a little bit about, I guess we'll call it kind of like what I wish I'd known before we got pregnant. And I don't want this video to come off as like, oh, I wish I'd known this would have changed our decision. This would not have changed anything. I am very happy we are pregnant and very grateful for our little baby that is healthy and growing. But pregnancy has been nothing like I thought it would be, and I'm only 12 weeks pregnant. But there's been a lot of things that I didn't expect that I think might have helped me cope mentally, emotionally, and physically a little bit better if I'd just known about it before. So I wanted to make this video for any of you who maybe are really early in your pregnancy or are thinking about growing your family so that maybe you can feel a little bit more equipped. And of course, everyone's experience is going to be different. Some people might be able to relate to some of the things I share, and others might be like, that was nothing like what I experienced. So of course, take this with a grain of salt, take what is helpful, and just toss the rest to the side. But yeah, let's just jump into the video. Alrighty, so the first thing that I think I'd heard about, and I knew that like this was something people definitely felt in pregnancy, but I didn't expect to feel it from literally day one, which was just how tired I was. I was so tired. I just felt like sleeping all day. I was sleeping super deeply and just like really good sleeps during the night, unless I was feeling really nauseous and I had a couple rough nights. But for the most part, like I was getting a solid 8 to 10 hours of sleep every night. And then throughout the day, I was just exhausted. Like I would do the tiniest thing and be like, I need to sleep now. So I did not expect to feel as tired as I did. I found out I was pregnant at around 4 or 5 weeks, and just, a couple days after that, it just hit me. Like I was so tired. And so I just think I wasn't prepared for how exhausted I would be. And so I was kind of hard on myself. And I think that knowing that you are going to be tired and that that's just kind of a part of pregnancy, your body is growing another human being. When you think of it that way and you put it into perspective, it kind of makes sense that you're going to be tired and just feel like you need some extra sleep. So just give yourself some grace. Don't beat yourself up if you don't have the same amount of energy you might have had before. I have heard that people's energy often comes back in the second trimester and then they lose it again in the third. So I'm hoping that maybe I'll have a couple months of like being back to my energy, and I already do feel less tired than I did at the beginning, but exhaustion is real. So just something to be aware of, that if you feel so tired and you just have to take a nap throughout the day, don't beat yourself up about it. It's okay, and it's honestly just, it's what your body needs. Like your body isn't gonna feel exhausted if it didn't need to sleep. So if you feel exhausted, just go to sleep and chances are you'll feel better. The second thing that I did not expect at all, and I think this is going to be very different depending on the person you are, but I did not think that getting pregnant would affect my mental health or my mental state. But you guys, I actually really struggled for like the first 2 weeks after we found out. When we first found out, it was like excitement, obviously, and we were really happy. And it's not that that the happiness went away or that I was like, oh my gosh, I made a mistake. It wasn't anything like that. But I felt some depression creeping back in. And depression and anxiety are things I've struggled with in the past, so it wasn't too surprising that like during a big change, my body kind of went into shutdown mode. But it was really difficult, and I felt really guilty about it because we have been blessed with this baby. I was pretty healthy for the most part, and I just remember feeling really guilty about feeling sad and down and crying and feeling upset and just like confused about why I was feeling this way, because why am I not on cloud nine? And it didn't last very long, which is something I'm super grateful for. It only lasted, I would say, for about 2 weeks, where it was like pretty rough. But I just found that during that time, getting outside really helped. Being able to just cry, even though maybe I didn't understand why I was crying, also helped. And just feel and go through what I was going through. Because being able to do that, then when it passed, I was totally okay and I just felt back to myself. But it was rough not feeling like myself, and just like the effect that it had on me, I just did not feel like me. And I kind of just took a break from everything and just hermited a little bit. But if that is something you feel, I know that I looked at, I think it's called prenatal depression, because people talk a lot about postpartum depression, but prenatal depression is a thing as well, and like depression in the early stages of pregnancy, it's real too. It's just something that's not talked about as often. But if you feel that, I looked up YouTube videos about it, and a lot of people were sharing their experience, and it just helped me feel like it's okay. Like, I'm very happy about this addition to our family, and it's okay that I'm just feeling a little bit off, and now I feel so much better. But I would just encourage you to, again, be patient with yourself. If you have a professional you can go talk to, it might be a good time to do that, because there are so many hormonal changes going on in your body that I just think it can be really helpful to have someone walk you through what you're feeling and help you look at it in a new perspective. And at the end of the day, I would say just be patient and let yourself go through that, and hopefully you'll get out of it. If you don't, that's when I would maybe try and seek some professional help. But that was just something I didn't expect, and I feel like if maybe I'd known that could be something, I might have been a bit more patient with myself and not as like, what is going on, when it kind of hit me. So hopefully that's helpful to someone out there. Third thing that I did not expect was just how much it affected every single part of my life. I kind of just thought like, oh, I'll get pregnant and, okay, I'm going to sound so dumb here and like very naive, but it's my first pregnancy. I'm allowed to be those things. I remember thinking like, oh, when I get pregnant, I'm going to like get so good at a workout routine. I'm going to be so healthy. I'm going to drink all the smoothies and all the green juices, and like, I'm just going to have a belly-only pregnancy, and I'm going to feel so good, and I'm going to have that like pregnancy glow. And you guys, that was not the case. I got pregnant and I was sick and nauseous. The only thing I could stomach was like ice cubes and bread. And then I would have the occasional craving. And it didn't matter if that craving was a chocolate milkshake from McDonald's. If that's what I felt like eating, we would go buy it, because it was the only thing that I could stomach. And so I did not eat healthy for like, up until now. I would say the last week and a half I've started to feel a lot better. And so I'm starting to slowly eat more healthy and like try and get greens back into my diet and all those good things. But I just didn't expect it to affect everything. Like, it affected me physically. I was tired. I have hardly worked out, which is something that I've heard a lot of people say, just give yourself grace in the first trimester and just survive the first trimester, because you will feel better and that energy will come back. So I'm definitely, as I'm starting to feel better, trying to make some healthier habit changes and all of that. But it was rough because I just didn't expect to feel like that. I felt bloated. I just felt like not like myself mentally. It was weird watching my, like, you know, like your body changes, and that was almost like a little bit weird to go through. And it was just, it's just everything all at once. And it's so, I feel like it makes it harder in the first trimester because you don't have a belly yet. You don't actually get to see the baby for the first couple weeks at like an ultrasound. I was 10 weeks when we got to hear the heartbeat, and that really made it all very real to me. But before that, I'd been feeling like crap, and, you know, it's like, oh yeah, there's a baby in me, but it hadn't really hit home as much as like seeing our baby on the ultrasound or hearing their heartbeat really made it feel. So I just did not expect it to affect every part of my life. And I would say, if you have really high expectations for yourself when you're pregnant, lower them a lot, and maybe when you get into like the second trimester, you can start building up those goals and those healthy habits again, because it's probably just going to be survival mode for the first trimester. A lot of people feel sick. If you don't, you are one of the blessed and lucky ones. But it's just a very normal thing, and if you don't work out that much, if you maybe eat not so great, and maybe you're really moody, and I did not... Man, mood swings and all that is just, it's just rough. So just give yourself some grace. Try and be kind to yourself. Try and be kind to your poor husband or partner, because your hormonal changes affect them too. And just go with it. You know, everything's just kind of wacky during those first couple of weeks. And I was not expecting that. So I'm telling you to expect that. And if you don't have that, bless your soul, you are very lucky. And the last thing that I wanted to share that I didn't really expect, and I think this is something you can't understand until you're pregnant yourself, is how much you sacrifice physically. Everything I've talked about has kind of led up to this, of like, pregnancy is a sacrifice. You're sacrificing, your body's changing, you know, your hormones are all over the place, and your mood might be changing, and that can be hard to deal with. Especially if you feel like you've gotten like into good habits and routines and a good mental state. And there's just so much that changes, and you have to really look at it as a sacrifice for your baby and as an act of love. I also really didn't expect like the amount of needles and blood work and just doctor's visits. I'm someone who just hasn't grown up going to the doctor very frequently. I feel very grateful that I've been very healthy growing up, and so it's very different for me to have to go get blood work done and to go for like monthly checkups, and all of that is very foreign to me. And so it has felt like a sacrifice because I do not like going to the doctor, and now I have to be like get checked up all the time. So it is a sacrifice, but honestly it's the best sacrifice you can make, and it's just such a beautiful feeling to know that you're growing a little human inside of you. And so if you're pregnant or if you're hoping to grow your family, then I would just say just enter pregnancy with like very low expectations and just go into it knowing that you are like growing a human and you are literally like carrying a little miracle, and that right there is such a gift. So I'm very grateful for this new chapter of our lives, but I hope that these were helpful for you, and yeah, basically explains how I've been feeling the last 3 months. But at the end of the day, I'm so grateful, and I just wouldn't change any of it for the world. I wouldn't ever change or take back any of the sicky feelings or all of that stuff for anything, because I can't wait until we get to meet our little baby. And I just know everyone always says that moment makes everything about pregnancy worth it. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you are enjoying pregnancy related videos, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And as always, thanks so much for following along, and I will see you guys in my next video.